Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a new video for you. It is on the brand new BRUEN MK9, which is a new LMG for COD. They've just brought it out. To unlock the weapon, you actually have to get 3 kills while you're in smoke with an LMG 15 times. Now you might think that sounds pretty easy, but the game does limit you to one lot of 3 kills per game, so minimum you have to do 15 games. So unfortunately, while I could have done it in 3 or 4, it did take me 15, and there were a couple of games where I didn't get enough kills as it was, so it probably took me about 18. But I have done that now, and here it is. Now it says this is an air-cooled open bolt 5.56 light machine gun, and it features a competitive fire rate and excellent stability that will dominate the mid to long range battlefield. So that sounds pretty good. I'm hoping it's going to have a pretty low recoil. The only LMG I really use is the PKM. I've got that set up for Warzone. I have used it in multiplayer, of course, but it is sort of my go-to LMG for Warzone if I'm going to use one. And I've got it set up to be really good low recoil, sort of so I would say mid-range weapon. As long range, I think it's still still not great, but sort of that medium to shorter ranges, it's fantastic. So I'm hoping the BRUEN might be the replacement for that. Something perhaps a little bit more mobile. Now I have fired the M249 saw in real life before, and it's just a fantastic weapon. Very light, sort of very compact, and the recoil on it is pretty powerful, but yeah, very controllable, especially on a little bipod that I was using. And you know, nowhere near as harsh as a M249. M240 Bravo that I also fired. Of course, they are different size rounds, but and quite different guns. But yeah, I quite enjoyed the saw, and yeah, really looking forward to using this in game. Now I'm going to give a bit of a animation of it here to give you a look at it. It looks beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. They really do really good work with their weapon models. Now I'm really looking forward to unlocking all the attachments to this. At the moment, while we don't have shipment 24/7, which would be perfect, we do have shoot the ship, which is the next best thing. So that's going to help me unlock a lot of attachments for this gun. What I'm going to do when I do come back and see you next for the next part of this video, I'm going to have all of the attachments for this gun. I'm going to give a small sort of commentary about the weapon in multiplayer. The loadout that I'm using that I think is good, and then I'm going to give it a bit of a shot in Warzone, and yeah, really give it some thoughts on yeah, how it feels in what I consider to be sort of the real game. Often guns in multiplayer don't cross over into Warzone well, and vice versa. So it's going to be interesting to find out. Obviously I haven't actually used it yet, so I don't have any attachments or camos, but we're soon going to fix that. So the next time you see me, I'm going to have a whole lot of attachments for this gun, and I'm going to have been using it for a while and give some good feedback on it.
Alpha.
Okay, well that was a lot of fun. I've now unlocked everything for this gun. I'm going to actually go through all the attachments that are available, like I've done in some of my previous videos, just to give you a bit of a look at them all. There's actually a couple, a couple of items that are worth noting. I've really loved this gun. I was definitely right when I first had a go on it. It is great. One of the coolest things about it is this 60 round magazine. Gives you a heap of pros, and really the only con is magazine ammo capacity, which is pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's a bit of a cross, I think, between an assault rifle and an LMG. It runs fine with the ammunition belt, which is 100 rounds, but of course you're going to lose your loading time. It does come with a 200 round bout, which is awesome. I think that's just something you chuck on for a lot of fun. Could be good in, say, Warzone or Plunder or something when you're up against maybe quads. You could take out an entire squad quite easily. It does affect your aim down sight speed and movement speed a lot, though. The 60 round mag is, it's close to your 100 rounds, but it has a lot of benefits. The other thing are its barrels. Has I'd say two different sets of barrels. It has the Para one, which I'm using at the moment, which is quite good for your aim down sight and movement speed. The other two are focused on your sort of longer range setups, and I'm really looking forward to running this in a long range setup. And trying this out on Plunder or Warzone. I think it's going to be possibly one of my favourite weapons. I previously have had the PKM as my LMG setup for Warzone, which I do rarely use, but I've got a low recoil setup with that. But I think this gun is going to be a lot more enjoyable. Probably my next part of this video will be me doing some Plunder gameplay and just getting a feel for it at the longer distances and the sort of one-on-one combat, or 1v2, etc., compared to the craziness which has been shoot the ship and shipment 24/7. But that has allowed me to unlock everything very quickly. Here's the gun with the setup I've been using for that game mode, shipment 24/7. It's really based around speed, aim down sight speed, and sort of recoil control, as far as close range and speed goes. So it's got mostly the shortened items. I was using the skeleton stock and stuff like that on there, but I found this to probably be the suitable setup for something that's that crazy in close range. Tried a few different optics. So I'm going to do some quick footage now. I just recorded. It's only a couple of kills that I got in that game mode. Nothing too exciting, but it'll give you a bit of a look how the game looks and how the gun looks and how it feels. I found it's great for it's so controllable in certain setups that it's great for headshots, which is why I think it'll be a really good Warzone weapon. One thing you may have noticed, I actually not too sure if I kept any footage of it, of the gun using iron sights. But when you are using iron sights on it, there's quite a lot going on in your in the middle of your picture, and I found it quite distracting. And it was only when I had a sight on there did I feel comfortable that I would be getting headshots and a lot more accuracy. I ran it perhaps only for one game with iron sights, or a couple of games, and was really not happy with it. I don't think my skill level is quite up to what it needs to be to use iron sights with this gun. So I think in most setups I'll always be using a sight on it. There's some guns I don't mind using iron sights, the Grau and the MP7, which are probably my two favourite guns. But I think I'm always going to be running a sight on this. Okay, so we're going to go through the attachments here. I'm not going to specifically talk about any specific one for now, just going to go through them all. You can have a bit of a look. These are the muzzles. barrels. Feel free to pause it at any stage and have a look at the pros and cons, especially of its unique attachments. The lasers. Sights, I'll just quickly go through. They're your typical sights, nothing exciting there. I do find the mini reflexes were all pretty good. I think this gun would work well with any sight. Stocks. Perks are all your standard perks, nothing too exciting there. As are your grips. Again, this is the 60 round mag attachments with its many pros and not many cons. It's going to be, I think, the real go-to attachment for Plunder and Warzone. And underbarrel attachments. Now, usually I don't do this, but I'm actually going to show you some of the camos on this gun, how it looks, because it's such a beautiful weapon. I'm actually going to take off all of these attachments and give us a look at the pure weapon. I'll have a look at a few of the camos, because I thought it looked gorgeous. I tried a few different camos, and I was really impressed with the look. Now, I haven't used this weapon much past unlocking all its attachments, so I do not have all the camos, or most of the camos as yet. Yeah, I think this gun looks great in so many colour variants. I thought I'd have to show you. Now, the Necropolis is my usual go-to camouflage. I think some of the stripes camos look really good on it. Yeah, so I'm now going to be setting it up for some Plunder gameplay. I'm going to set it up for more long range fire and lower recoil. Definitely going to be using the 60 round mag, but I'm going to have a bit of a play around with it and see how, see what kind of setup suits me best. I do find I use most of my combat in Warzone is sort of close to medium range, so that's why I think this weapon's going to be very good. So I'm going to have a bit of a play around the settings. I'll probably do some more kills recording. And then we'll have a bit of a discussion about how it is, in the Warzone sort of side of things, which is usually quite different to multiplayer. So, going to have a bit of a play around, and I'll see you shortly.
Hostile dropping into the area. Gotcha, you fucker.
Enemy attack chopper in the AR.
Try a bit longer range. Nice.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Happy with that.
Bounty target is down. Well done. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy attack chopper is in the AO. Bring it down.
Right here.
Bounty target is down. Well done.
Okay, so that was some footage from a couple of plunder games that I was playing, and the very first one was actually the very first plunder pre-game lobby I got onto, and I got those 3 kills. I had a good feeling about it after that, but yeah, I think this gun is really good. I think it's the only thing I would argue about it is that it's possibly outdone by the actual assault rifles that it's sort of trying to be like. Because there is a possibility of changing the ammunition back to belt fed instead of the 60 round mags, but I think as I usually play Battle Royale solos, I think the 60 round mags would be enough. You do go through the rounds pretty quick with this gun though, and I was even finding that, you know, 1 or 2 kills, I was still having to change the clips. So that's probably something I would toy around with. Besides that, I was pretty happy with the sights and everything that I've got on the gun. The good thing about getting rid of the 60 round mags, going back to the 100 round belt, would be I could then place one of the underbarrel attachments on, and as you can see, you can get the accuracy right up there. With the Merc foregrip, you're looking at almost a full bar of accuracy. It's pretty crazy. Or perhaps go back and start looking at the stocks. Most of them are really down to mobility. You could chuck FMJ on there. And as far as optics go, I was pretty happy with the thermal optic, although I am a bit of a fan of the night vision goggle sight. I do love my MP7, and I use the NVG sight on that all the time, pretty much all the time. So I do love that sight. But if I'm going to run it the way I've got it set up in this pairing with the RPG, then I would probably consider leaving the thermal on there. But yeah, really love this gun. I think it makes a pretty fun change from, say, like my Grouse setup. which is pretty fun, and something a bit different. Well, definitely different from my MP7 setup. So, as you can see there, I've taken my PKM setup off, and now it's a BRUEN setup. So, yeah, I do really enjoy it. I think it could do, yeah, definitely with some tweaking. I do like this setup. I think it works pretty well. But perhaps what I would try is, yeah, taking the ammunition off, back to the standard 100 rounds. And I could see myself, yeah, putting something in the underbarrel category on. I do like the idea of the Commando foregrip, actually. I think that suits me quite well. I may even do that now. And let's have a look at it here. So I think perhaps the 60 round magazine definitely has its place, and I really like it. I love the idea of a quick reload, and 60 rounds is definitely nothing to be laughed at. But yeah, I think I might give this a little bit of a run with the 100 round belt, but I'd love to hear any feedback on the gun that anyone else has. I think it looks great. I think it's one of the sexiest guns in the game. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Just tried to do my normal all attachments in gunsmith video like I've done with many other guns, but I thought with this one I'd do something a little bit more special and show a few kills with it, show some multiplayer, and actually talk about the gun and attachments in a little bit more detail. So I've had actually a lot of fun doing that. I still have some other guns that I do have all the attachments for that I haven't made videos for yet, so I may do something similar. Not too sure, but this gun was, yeah, a lot of fun to unlock and I guess deck out in all my favourite stuff. And I hope you've had fun with it as well. So thanks for watching. I hope you'll check out the rest of my channel. I've got many videos on there, not only gaming, but videos of my holidays and other hobbies. And I've just recently reached 200 subscribers, which is a bit of a milestone for myself, and soon I hope to release a thank you video for my 200 subscribers. So I hope to see you then. Hopefully you'll be a subscriber as well, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.